fine. Today we are going to start our next topic, that is Muslim scientists. That what are the role of Muslim scientists in different sciences in the biology, and what they do there. There are three main and the most famous biologists. They are the Jabir bin Hayyan, Abdul Malik Asma'i, and Bu Ali Sina. About him we will talk today. They work a lot in the development of the present day knowledge of the plants and animals. So the first one is Jabir bin Hayyan. He was born in Iran and practiced medicine in Iraq. He introduced experimental investigation in chemistry and also wrote a number of books on plants and animals. And his most famous books were Al-Nabatat and Al-Haywan. Al-Nabatat was about the plants and Al-Haywan about the animals. The second one is Abdul Malik Asma'i. He lives from 740 to 828 AD, and he is considered as the first Muslim scientist who studied the details about the animals. So that's why he wrote different books about the different animals. Like he wrote about the camels, Al-Abil. He wrote about the horse in Al-Khayl, and Al-Wahush is about the animals, and Khalaq al-Insan was about the humans. Then the next one is Bu Ali Sina. Bu Ali Sina lived from 980 to 1037 AD, and he is honored as the founder of medicine and also called as the Avicenna of the West. He was also a physician, a philosopher, astronomer, and a poet. One of his books that is the most famous book, was Al-Qanun fi al-Tib, that is about the laws of medicine. So it is known as the canon of medicine in West. So the next thing we are going to talk about is the levels of organization. There are different levels of the biological organization. We can say that the living organisms lives from their existing is from the smallest particle to the largest organization level. So the first level is called as the molecular level of organization, to the smallest level of organization. Then the cellular level, cell combines together and form the tissues combine together and forms organ, then organs combine together and forms a system will form the organism, then population, community, and the ecosystem. So we will talk about them in the details. The first one is the molecular level, in which we talk about the atoms and the molecules. Atom is what is considered as the smallest unit of matter that has some chemical properties of the particular chemical elements, like it is made up of the protons, neutrons, electrons. Then the number of atoms, one or more atoms, combine together and forms the molecule. But in case of the biological organization, in case of the living organism, cell is considered as the smallest unit, and it is also considered alive. So all true cells are considered are surrounded by a membrane, a covering, that is called as the plasma membrane, or you can say the cell membrane, which carry out the complex chemical reaction and are least potentially capable of self-reproduction. Then number of cells combined together. These cells can be similar or different, and that forms the tissue level of organization. The tissue level is what that it is there. Every specific tissue has its own function. Like the nervous tissue, it performs the function of passing the message from brain to the parts of the body. Then the muscle tissue has its own function. That means that muscle tissue can't perform the function of the nervous tissue. Nervous tissue can't perform the function of the muscle tissue. Every part has its own specific function, but they are working collectively. Like you can see that the number of tissues, when combined, it forms the organ level of organization. In case of the organ level, you can see in the figure that the smooth muscle tissues are present, the loose connective tissues are present, nervous tissues are present, columnar epithelium, blood, and they all are collectively making an organ, that is the stomach. Stomach can perform the function of digestion. So it is an organ of digestion which is formed by a number of tissues. Then when different organs combine, these organs can make what? It can make a whole system. Like there is liver is a separate organ, gallbladder is a separate organ, stomach, small intestine, large intestine. But when we say that it have to perform the function of digestion from the esophagus, when the food reaches to the stomach, it starts digesting the food. Now this is a separate organ. Esophagus is a separate organ, but it helps in passing the food from the oral cavity towards the stomach. Stomach start digesting. After the digestion, it passes it to the small intestine, where the absorption of the food takes place, and it gets mixed with the blood, and then after that the waste material is added to the large intestine and then excreted out. So these all are different organs, but they all are interlinked. This is collectively making a whole digestive system. In the same way, when different systems combine, it form a whole organism. Like in case of the humans, what we have a respiratory system, we have a digestive system, nervous system. So number of systems combine together and forms the organism. The organism, that's why we say that organisms are multicellular. Living organisms like the humans, plants, animals, they all are multicellular organisms, because they are not depending on the single cells, but the number of cells combined together, and they are performing the functions of a whole human body. After that, we say the next level is the population level, when different organisms of the same species are freely interacting and breeding in the same environment, in the same area, that is making the population of that area. Like in the specific area, we say that the number of humans living, they are a single species, number of dogs, cats, wolves, anything that are of the same species is making a population. When different populations combined, it forms a community. Like in a pond, the ducks are present, fish are present, plants are present, many other small insects and all these things. So these all are different species, but living in the same area. So this all is making what? This is making a community. In case the community, the organisms that are living in the same area are living as well as a non-living, like the mountains are present, like the rocks are present, and the living organisms like birds, trees, animals, they all are making the whole ecosystem. After that, we say that biosphere, it is actually the region on, below, above the earth, like everything that is present on the earth, like the atmosphere, like the oceans, rocks, everything that is making the whole biosphere. Then the next thing is about the cellular organization, that all the organisms have mainly been divided into the 5 major groups, which are the prokaryotes, protists, fungi, plants, and animals. So all organisms are made up of the cells. There are 2 basic types of cells. We say that are the prokaryotic and eukaryotic. Prokaryotic are those that are made up of the single cell, and eukaryotic are those that are made up of multiple cells. As you see, we can say that cell organized in the 3 ways, that is either the unicellular, colonial, or multicellular organization. In case of the unicellular organism, only one cell can make the whole life of an organism. You can see in this figure, this is amoeba. Amoeba is a single cell. A single cell contains what? The nucleus, vacuole, then cytoplasm, number of organelles. In the same way, this amoeba contains different number of organelles. It is a single cell, but it is also a whole organism. Same is the case of paramecium, same is the case in euglena. But in the colonial type of cell organization, what happened, that many unicellular organisms live together, and but they are not depending on each other. Like you can say that in the colony, what happened, there are different homes, people are living together, but every home every family has its own way of living. They are not depending on each other, but they are present in the same colony. In the same way, we see the example of the Volvox colony. There are number of Volvox cells present here, but they are not depending on each other. Every Volvox cell is performing its own function, it is living its own life. Then the next one is multicellular organization, in which cells are organized in the forms of tissues, organ system, as we talked previously. We see two examples here, that is the mustard plant and frog. Mustard plant is also called as the Brassica campestris. It is sown in winter and it produces its seeds at the end of winter. So the plant body is used as the vegetable, its seed is used for extracting oil. In case of the plant, it is divided into the two groups. The first one is the vegetative organ, and the other one is reproductive organ. The root, stem, branches and leaves are the vegetative organs of the plant because they are not involved in the reproduction, while the reproductive parts are flowers because this flower produces the fruits and seeds. That's why it is considered as the reproductive part of the plant. Then frog, it is also called as Rana tigrina, and its body is made up of in the same way the organ system, the organs, tissues, like number of tissues are present like the epithelial, glandular, muscular, nervous tissue. So it is considered as the plants and animals are considered as the multicellular organisms because there are number of cells performing different functions in a single body. This is all about the introduction to biology. I hope everything will be clear to you. Thank you.